I'm going to start out saying that due to the nature of where we're at right now in the story, and kind of like going between the Ellen tier arc and whatever's next, that there's a good chance that the next chapter will be more of like a fun kind of silly chapter rather than like a major chapter within the story. I really am hoping that if that is the case, we get something kind of like how, not, right before the Ellen tier arc started, like when they got pulled into Edalus and stuff, how it was like, okay, this chapter is like a lot of goofy stuff between a lot of like the ships and whatnot, and then ends with Ferris getting up and mentioning stuff about like the moon and Ellentir and whatnot. If we can get something like that next chapter, that'd be amazing. But I'll just assume whenever I do stuff like this, like that I'm never counting 4 chapters like that. I know they're gonna happen, but it's kind of like it's pretty much impossible to predict chapters like that when it's just like, hey, this chapter is gonna be like a really fun kind of silly one. It's like it wouldn't have anything to do with the story. Like think of like trying to guess the fairy nail chapter. Like that was just I don't think anybody could have guessed that whatsoever. But the things that I have big fingers crossed on in the next chapter, I'd say like next chapter, but like the next chunk of the story, 2 things primarily. I really want to see what exactly the Diablos members are up to now that Selene is there. Like, and a lot of people think that she's gonna end up taking over the guild. Like her saying how she like acknowledged Suzaku's strength, and the fact she doesn't have her Moonlight Beauty gods anymore. It's definitely clear that she's gonna be looking for a new set of minions. I'm still really hoping as well that she ends up like going and retrieving her children, and they become part of like her antagonist group. That to me would be cooler than her takeover of Diablos, because I mentioned it in my general kind of chapter and stuff, because you're essentially at that point going to be fighting a dragon. You're a dragon mother and her brood, and that's one of the things about fighting like an older female dragon, is she's going to have all of these offspring that you're going to have to deal with. And in Selene's case, it's not just going to be like, oh yeah, like baby whelps, like tons of like tiny tarts. Like no, these are going to be like full grown dragons, because she's 400 plus years old. But with that, the Diablos ones, I really want to get to where we can see the other members. Like, not just the, like, general members. I'm really hoping that we have, like, at least a couple other Dragon Eaters that are of, like, the more large standard of their guild. Not just, like, the Black Dragon Slayer Knights. Like, a couple regular people around, like, people like Mad Mole and Kyria's level, or, like, Nibaru and whatnot. But also the Black Dragon Slayer Knights. I definitely want to meet those guys, or at least a number. If we at least got a number of how many there are, I'd be perfectly fine with that. I know some people are predicting the idea of Georg coming back, because like the whole thing about it's four beast Dragon Slayer magic. They're kind of like thinking like, well, maybe they're talking about like the the 4 mythological like deities. Like what is it? The like Azure Dragon, the Red Phoenix. I don't remember the turtle color, and then it's either white or black tiger. I don't remember, but it's like you have the phoenix. If you have the phoenix and Georg gets rezzed, dog, don't you bark while I'm making videos. But if I'll just say it right now, if Georg does come back, I'm all right with it. Excuse me, I'm doing stuff. If Georg does come back, I'm perfectly fine with it, because I do like his design. If he stays dead, that's whatever, because we never got far enough to actually get invested in his character, other than the fact he looks really cool. So we'll see exactly what Mishima does. Either way, like the only way I could see him coming back is if he like rezzed and then like goes to the Fairy Tale Guild and talks to them and be like, "Hey, I need your guys' help" or something, or at least like the main cast. So otherwise, like I don't really know what he's gonna do. He can't just res up and like be in the room where Selene's gonna squash him again, because she clearly indicates that the responsibility of killing her children goes way more on Georg than anyone else. So right there, that's just how Georg's fate is kind of going to be, if that's in there. So I guess I had to add a third thing. But like the other thing I wanted to mention was any form of hints towards Viernes, because I do think Ignia is going to be last. Out of the Dragon Gods, Ignia has the highest level of story potential because of his ties, to the main character and Igniel. So we'll see exactly how that goes. But for Viernes, I would love to see some form of information on him. Like, we could just see a silhouette of him and him saying something. Good enough for me. So, the next chapter, like I said, it could just be a fun chapter. We could get something silly. Like, I don't know, like characters go bowling or something. That'd be kind of funny. But outside of that, like outside of like talking about like the general kind of potential funny content, the major things, obviously, to me, are stuff around the state of the of Diablos, really, in general. I'm going to say Black Dragon Sirens, but, like, Diablos in general. And then, you know, question mark on Georg. Is Georg fully dead? Is, like, that idea that people are having about him kind of coming back because Phoenix potential relations. I guess it'd be Phoenix Dragon, but you know what I mean? If he could res up from that. But other than that, it would be something with Viernes. I mean, I don't need all three of these things. If we can get one, I think the one that's the most likely is getting a quick kind of peek further into what's going on with Selene and Diablos, because now she's got all those Dragon Slayers at her disposal, and I think she's going to end up utilizing them, because Suzaku is clearly somebody that, like, she was messing around with, but she doesn't have a grudge against him entirely, really. It just seems like she's just kind of, like, annoyed, but at the same time, she's like, oh, okay, well, you have that kind of, you got a little bit of the vibe for Kurnugi, so it just reminds me a bit of my child. I think the main cast, she'll have more of a beef with. Like, Georg would definitely be at the top out of the people that we've kind of can relate to Selene's issues. But when it comes outside of that, the main cast members are the ones that screwed up her stake in Elantir and everything around that. So she might end up wanting to get revenge on the main cast for fucking over her whole spot over there. Because, I mean, that's a big kind of problem right there. We don't know how long exactly she was in Elantir, but I would imagine that, like, it was a very cush position to be in, where she's got all these guys working for her. She's pretty much running the whole dimension. Everything that she, like, wants to happen will happen. So Mishima's definitely got some really hype areas coming up, but like I said, the area we're at right now in the story, we could easily get like a silly chapter, and I'm alright with that, as long as in that silly chapter we literally get just one piece of, like, the main plot. Anything that has to do with the main plot, one page, I'm fine with it. Like, if we could just get a silhouette of Viernes and him saying something, cool with that. We could get literally just the like a blank, like a zero dialogue page of more members of Diablos, and I'd be fine with that. Those are pretty much the things for me, because I know, like, where we're at, and I anticipate those kind of chapters, like, some more fun, kind of silly ones. I usually call them transitionary chapters, like going between arc to arc. So we'll see. Like, Mishima's, like I said, he's in a specific spot with, like, definitely one of the best twists in the whole arc so far, with Selene willingly getting captured, like, pretty much planning it, smashing Georg up, and now, like, it looks like she's got control over Diablo, so I think it's going to be really cool what exactly she reveals in that. I wonder if she's going to actually say anything about the big skeleton on the top. Like, is that a dragon? It definitely looks like one. It's got the wing and stuff, but, like, what? Maybe she knew the dragon? Who really knows? It's really going to be up to Mishima at this point, like, where the next couple big pieces fall. But anyway, other than that, comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend, like button, subscribe, and check out my other videos. But than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.